Hey, welcome. Good morning and welcome to UCEA YouTube channel. This is Yi Zhang, a graduate assistant and doctoral student at UCEA headquarters at Michigan State University. I'm here today to interview Dr. Kofi Lomotey as a part of his candidacy for the UCEA Executive Committee. Today, listener will be hearing from Dr. Lomotey, a Bardo Distinguished Professor of Educational Leadership at the Western Carolina University. He has been concerned about the limited academic, social, cultural, and spiritual success of Black children in the U.S. schools. His research has focused largely on the significance of Black principles for the overall success of Black children. Dr. Lomotey was the recipient of UCEA Rhodes Campbell Award in 2020. Welcome, Dr. Lomotey.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to our discussion.
Yes, and let's begin with our first interview question today. Please tell us about your background and your scholarship as it relates to leadership preparation and practice.
Sure. I grew up in New York City, attended New York City public schools, and went from there to Oberlin College in Ohio. And as an undergrad, I got involved in tutorial programs and began to notice very quickly or become more aware, I should say, of the seemingly consistent gap in the success levels of white students and Black students. And so I continued with these tutorial programs in an effort to improve the experiences of African-American students. And I also got involved in independent African-centered schools. I believed at the time, and continue to believe, that Black students will do better if they have an opportunity to, in a sense, what I call see themselves in the curriculum, if they receive a culturally responsive education. And so I actually started a preschool and early elementary school as an undergraduate student at Oberlin. And then in graduate school, I continued with this interest in the success of Black students and began to look at the relationship between Black student success and the presence of Black principles. And so, when I think about what UCEA is doing in terms of enhancing the preparation and practice of educational leaders to increase the success of children in schools, I think my work through the years has been consistent with that. Most recently at Western Carolina University over the past 8 years, we've been involved in the Carnegie Project for the Education Doctorate, where we have worked very hard to make our doctoral program more practitioner-oriented so that we could play a greater role in enhancing the preparation and practice of school leaders. In fact, a few years ago, the Carnegie Project, or CPED, named us as the Program of the Year because of the work that we're doing. Also, I did receive the Campbell Award and the Hidden Figures Award from UCEA, which I think speaks to the relationship between my work and the work that is happening within UCEA.
Thank you very much for sharing. And the next question is, you have served for several years as a plenary session representative. And could you tell us about your engagement in UCEA governance?
Sure. I'll mention 3 things very briefly. I served for 2 years on the Campbell Award nominating committee as a member of the plenary. I also served for 2 years on the executive committee nominating committee. And I also provided some brief counsel to the executive committee on a matter of extreme importance to the organization. So those are some of the things that I've been doing since becoming a plenary representative 3 years ago.
And except for the governance, would you like to share in what other ways have you been engaged in UCEA?
Sure. I've been an active member of UCEA for about 25 years, although it's been in two segments. I initially became involved in the mid 80s until around 2000, and then I became a higher education administrator, chief academic officer, and the chief executive officer for a total of about 15 years. And so when I came back to UCEA around 2013, I continued my involvement with that organization. So it's a total of about 25 years. I typically will make presentations annually, be involved in sessions at UCEA's annual meeting. I've been a Jackson Scholar mentor since about 2015. So those are some of the things that I've been involved in addition to my work on the plenary.
Yes, that's really a long time. Thank you very much for sharing. And next question, would you like to discuss with us about your scholarship, research project, teaching, and or service that can inform the work of UCEA, particularly the work of the executive committee?
Sure. The majority of my research, as I suggested, has explored the relationship between Black student success and school leadership. And I think that despite my focus on Black students, my work has implications for all leaders and for all students. So for example, when we talk about the importance of culturally responsive school leadership for Black students, culturally responsive school leadership is important for all students. And so as I do my work on Black principals and Black students, there are clearly indications of relevance for other students and other school leaders. I've played a key role in expanding the discussion of school leadership. When I began my research on Black principals in the late 70s, early 80s, there was virtually no research on Black principals. And the significance of my role is validated by the fact that when people do work on Black principals now, they invariably cite the work that I've done over the past 50 years. And I think that's significant. In fact, my 15th and most recent book is entitled Justice for Black Students, Black Principles Matter, in which I chronicle the work that I've done and the work that others have done over the past 50 years. And I also, it's somewhat autobiographical in terms of talking about my own development of that interest in Black students and the relationship between Black students and Black principals.
Thank you for sharing about your research around the culturally responsive leadership. It's very informative. And here comes our last interview question today. Would you like to share the reason why you have chosen to run for the executive committee and your vision for the future of UCEA?
Sure. I would say that the short answer is wisdom. More chronically mature people are not always wiser, but wisdom comes with experience. And I've had a lot of experience. As I've said, I've been involved in education for 50 years. And I've been a teacher and an administrator on every level, from preschool to professional school. And that experience contributes, I think, to a significant amount of wisdom. In terms of what I see happening within UCEA, I think that the organization needs to continue its focus on improving leadership to increase the overall success of all students. And I would also urge the organization, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to be involved on a more intricate level in improving the focus on the needs of EDD students who intend to be leaders within higher education. Our focus through the years has been largely on people who intend to be involved in K-12 or pre-K-12 education. And I think that UCEA has a role to play in terms of helping to support the EDD students in our program, in the programs of member institutions who want to be educational leaders at the higher education level. So those are some of the things that I think are important in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Lomotey. Thank you for your time and the thoughtful response and highlight the importance of concerning the EDD students. Yeah. And our interview today will be archived on the UCEA YouTube channel. And listener can access or share the interview at any time. We also encourage listeners to post comments and questions on this interview in the comment section. Thank you very much and goodbye.